Did Pickpocket get a secret buff on NBA 2K22? That's what we finna get into. What's good, AllCity fam? I'm AllCity, and thank you for tuning in. As always, before we continue this video, I would love to invite you guys to the #1 NBA 2K22 Discord. If you guys are looking for players to run with on NBA 2K22, join our Discord. We would love to have you. Now let's get into it. Did Pickpocket get a secret buff? Did Mike Wang buff onboard steals and didn't tell us about it? Let's get right. Now I'm receiving a ton of messages from players saying that they noticed the difference with the Pickpocket Badge. Now what I really want to break down is whether or not this is the actual Pickpocket Badge or was this just a secret buff to the steal attribute, which is allowing you guys to get a lot more on-ball steals. Very recently we received the buff to dribble speed, allowing players to dribble more effectively on NBA 2K22. Prior to that, there was a nerf to dribble speed and the left-right cheese. This is all common knowledge amongst players in the 2K community. But considering I received so many messages from so many different players with the same inquiry about the Pickpocket Badge, that they're getting way more on-ball steals after the most recent update from NBA 2K22. So I want to reach out to you guys. I wanted to make this video, see if you guys are experiencing the same thing with on-ball steals and using the Pickpocket Badge. Which one is it? Is it just an on-ball steal buff, a secret buff that Mike Wang did to on-ball steals, or is this a secret buff to the Pickpocket Badge? I want to test this out on today's live stream, so hopefully you guys could join us on our live stream. I gotta tell you, from my personal experience, I haven't noticed much difference in on-ball steals. I noticed the same thing with bump steals, which bump steals have been plaguing 2K for the longest time. It just is what it is. To get a bump steal, you gotta effectively cut the person off, and when you cut that person off, they just magically lose the ball. So we know this already. Bump steals has always been in the game, but in the beginning of 2K22, we had this beautiful thing where if a dribbler went the wrong direction and put the ball on the defender's side and the defender did indeed swipe, we got the steal and it felt so rewarding. 2K nerfed on-ball steals and buffed the unpluckable badge, and that changed the game completely from what we experienced on day one. I know a lot of players will say that Pickpocket always worked effectively for them with their super high steal attribute and perimeter defensive attribute. They'll say, hey, this always worked for me. I never noticed a drop in the Pickpocket Badge, but there was indeed a drop. Shout out to NBA 2K Labs for running a test on showing the differences between the Pickpocket Badge prior to a particular patch and then after the patch, noticing that on Hall of Fame you used to get up to 14% on-ball steals, and then that number dropped after a particular patch, dropped down to 1%, 1.3% on-ball steals. There was a huge difference prior to patch to after patch for the Pickpocket Badge, and now it seems like players are reverting back to the Pickpocket Badge. I gotta say that you guys know I do a podcast with the homie Brutal Sim, and I asked Brutal Sim if he noticed any difference with the Pickpocket Badge as he runs with two elite defenders in J-Eazy and Gambit. And Brutal Sim told me that, hey, there is no difference with the Pickpocket Badge. They tried it out themselves and they noticed absolutely no difference. They don't even use the Pickpocket Badge any longer. I did tell you guys a while back that maybe you should consider removing the Pickpocket Badge, and my experience with Pickpocket after a particular patch was that I just in frustration removed the badge one game, and the very next game I was getting a lot more on-ball steals, which is really odd. It was just my experience and I wanted to share that with you guys, so I took it off and I hadn't put it back on. So we're gonna test that out in today's live stream, so hopefully you guys can come on out and see if the Pickpocket Badge or on-ball steals have gotten some sort of secret buff when they buffed the dribble speed in the most recent update. I hope you guys found this video helpful and or informative, and if you did, please consider dropping a like on the video. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below. Do you feel a difference with on-ball steals and the Pickpocket Badge? I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.